Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Miser's Guide to Evony. I wanted to take a few minutes and just record a video to explain the ranking system behind the Miser and Genghis Real Estate so that people can really have a pretty solid understanding of where keeps are in terms of their development, how much they should be valued, and so on in all of these features. And I think this will also help a lot of people understand where their accounts are in comparison to other people and valuations and so on. So I'm going to talk about that for a bit. I'm going to talk about feature valuation, what I mean by that. I'm going to explain why I think that a rating system matters, both for the real estate playlist, but also for the game itself. I want to talk about what each level of the rating system represents, and I'm going to talk about packages and packaging and that sort of thing. So to start off, when we do valuation for these real estate features, the valuation is done by myself or by Genghis or both. And we usually discuss it and we come to some kind of an agreement of, this is a 4 egg or this is a 3 egg. So we made this dragon eggs scale because we wanted to have some kind of a system that isn't money because we are not buying and selling. I've said this before. But at the same time, we can create a kind of valuation so people know how much their account is worth or valued at. And that should help influence decisions and negotiations that may or may not happen in private conversations that we are completely not a part of. So in this system, more dragon eggs means higher prestige, higher value for the account. More is better. There's a minimum of 1 dragon egg and there's a maximum of 5 dragon eggs. Valuation is a pretty important deal because it gives you a baseline approximation of the value of an account. So it helps you understand just roughly where that account is sitting and what the value of it could be. It's not the final say. There are other smaller things that will matter, and of course other issues, the market, the servers, the age of the server. Like there's a lot of stuff involved, but this system will allow people to have a pretty good understanding of where they fit in the grand scale of things. Without a standardized system, I think that a lot of people out there in the past have been cheated in many different ways, and that's buyers and sellers. So it just helps people understand the value of things, basically, a little bit better. We made our own system because, one, we're not involved in buying and selling. So I'm not going to put a cash dollar amount or something like that on the value of an account like we might do in the real world, because that's not what we're doing on this channel. But I also wanted to do our own system because having our own system portrays value without being deterministic. And what I mean by that is if I said, hey, this account is worth $500, then people are going to just, for the most part, just say, hey, my account's worth $500, even if the market is not there, even if really, because based off the market, it's really $250 or it's really $800. The scale, dragon egg scale, allows us to say this is the rough value in terms of other accounts, like as a comparison, and it's just a starting point for conversations. All right, so I thought that was an important thing to discuss as well. I'm going to go through one by one what each dragon egg represents. So on the scale, first we have the 1 dragon egg account, and it'll appear like this: 1 blue dragon egg and 4 grayed out dragon eggs, and I'll put that on every feature. It'll have a number of dragon eggs. So 1 dragon egg is an account valued at a low level, and the low level might be because of many different factors. Usually a 1 dragon egg account might be just designed as a farm, a very simple farm, or they didn't get very far or something along those lines. And it really represents the need to put in a lot of work to make it viable and competitive. So you would never expect a dragon egg, 1 dragon egg account to be PvP ready. It's in the growing phases. There's still stuff that can come out of it. And it's still a shortcut for people that just want to jump ahead, maybe to boost up from where they're at. But you would know that a dragon egg account, a single dragon egg account, has a lot of work still yet to do. Or it could be a higher valued account, like maybe it has more assets, maybe it is stronger, but it's on a dead server, or it's on a completely stale server, or even worse, it's on one where tile hitting is allowed or something crazy like that, and you can't grow very easily and it's frustrating. Those kind of things might be into consideration there, and that might be reasons for a 1 Dragon Egg account. A 2 Dragon Egg account is an account valued a bit above average. So 1 would be average because, I mean, let's face it, a lot of the average players in this game are still in the growing process. So slightly above average would be, in general, for most servers, a couple 100 million. They might, or if they're not a couple 100 million as a main, maybe they're a really, really great farm. They're really high production, really high gathering rates, lots of great refinements. That would be 2 eggs. But as a main, maybe it's 100 million, 200 million, or depending on the age of the server, maybe even up to 400 million or so. But the point of a 2 egg is that it has the potential to be a great account if you put in the work, the time, and perhaps a little bit of money to speed up the process as well. So 2 Dragon Egg is slightly above average. Lots of work to go, but it has purpose. 3 Dragon Eggs is an account that is above average. Not just slightly above average, but quite a bit above the average. It's already kind of competitive, so I would expect these to, for example, be at least Keep 35 in general, except if it's on a brand new server. And at that point, they'd already have started producing military, they would have good refinements and equipment, and they would able to be somewhat competitive in PvP, whether it's in battlefields or server versus server. So they would be there at the point where the game starts to become really interesting. They might have excellent potential. They might be setting themselves up for success. Like they're not doing some ridiculous stuff like outfitting their Queen Jindiok with gear for military excursions. Like they're making the right choices, and you don't see refinement for all kinds of crazy stuff that makes no sense and is set up incorrectly. In a 3 egg account, it's done the right way. They're just not at the place where they're a powerhouse just yet, but they're getting there. So they would need some time, they would need some money to become that very effective powerhouse account. A 4 egg account is an account valued that is far above average. They're already set up, they're already very competitive. It's a well-designed account, it's very advanced in pretty much every aspect of the game. And it's not quite an all-star account. It's not quite all-star competitive, but a little push, whether by money or otherwise, and it can get there. It can get there. It can make that jump. So it's already in a position where it can be in the all-stars if it really, really desired to be. That's a 4-star account. A 5-star account is, or not 5-star, why am I saying star? A 5 Dragon Egg account is an account that's valued at the very highest of the scale. So these are accounts that are already perfectly set up. They're competitive in all-stars. They're at the top of their server. They probably have 1 to 3, some all-star rewards, dragons, and so on. They're built for complete domination on their server and across the map. And the size and power of these accounts might vary from server to server. Like if you look at the first 100 servers, they might be in the 10 billion range. And if you look on newer servers, it might be a few billion. So it might vary, but they are huge compared to the rest of the accounts on their server or similar servers. That would be the 5 Dragon Egg account. So here are some considerations for valuation beyond just the assets like the generals and the troops and all that, the technology. There are other things to consider. There are things that have a pretty big impact on gameplay that are outside of just the account. Just in the same way as if you were buying a house, if it was a beautiful house, but it was located inside the city dump, you probably wouldn't move there regardless. So there are other factors like the server health. How's the server? Is it fun to play on? Are there lots of people? Is it dead? Is it hostile? Like what's going on that server? What's the ranking on server versus server? for that particular server. Is it high? Do they always lose? Do they always win? That might change the impact for somebody that really likes to compete in SVS. Is it already in an active alliance? Will you be able to get into an alliance if you were the account owner? Or is it like some account that everybody hates, and no matter who is playing it, it will be, tiled and kill on sight and that kind of thing. You got to find these details out first. The server age, is it a server that is brand new and it's a pretty big account on a brand new server? That might have more value than if it's an average account in an ancient server. The difficulty of the continent. So if you look at the difficulty of being successful on continent 1, even continent 2, and compare that to 3 and above, it's drastically different. So you have to be much, much bigger, much, much more well established on the earlier continents to do well. So the difficulty does matter. And then are there any other inclusions in the package? Like does the feature, is it inclusive of other mains, other farms, and so on? What is included beyond just what is seen on the face surface of the account? So I'm going to feature my own. This is an example feature. I am not officially featuring, and no, I'm not selling. Don't message for my account. This is just an example for a rating system. So my own account, I have a pretty solid troop count. I'll take a quick look here. I'm not going to do it the same way as I would a feature, but I've got definitely above average. I've got 130 million troops. Huge layers and so on. I'm pretty well established. I'm keep 35 and starting keep 36. So I've gotten through that threshold. I have very strong generals, some that are much stronger than others, and they're very strong generals for the equipment that is on them. So this is one of the areas that I struggle with, and why I'm going to rate it the way that I do. With a little bit more of a push, it could be a fantastic account. Right now, it's just well above average. So excellent troop count, the keep development, the city, pretty much everything, because there was not a whole lot for me to do since I couldn't get past the keep 36 block. But pretty much everything in my city is 35 and above, even the useless buildings. Just had nothing to do. So everything is really high end in terms of development. The technology isn't so bad. There's still a little bit of work to go on technology, but I'm at 20.5 million technology power, so it's not too shabby. I have, like I said, above average generals and buffs for sure. Strong debuffs and pretty good subs overall. So a mix of mostly Japan and Russia and so on. Very, very strong active alliance. We're always really high end in Constantinople, Guatemala, Chalons. We rank really high in everything. And our server versus server ranking is, I don't know what it is, but it's probably pretty good too. Let's see. We are at a loading screen, 15th. So 15 in Elite League. So we are down here. So we're pretty good. It's a pretty active server compared to a lot of other ones. It had a couple merges and so on, but it has very good server health. The account is in a good standing with pretty much the entire server. So it's a prime example of what I would call a 4 Dragon Egg account. It's not a 5-star or a 5 Dragon Egg account because it has not been successful in All Stars. I don't have any of the perks like Wonder 3 or some of the bigger dragons. I don't have them because I have not been able to get to that point. But it is in a position where, because it's a very strong account already and it's set up very well, it could be All Stars competitive with a little bit of a push. I'm not willing to do that, but if somebody else were the account owner, for example, they could invest a bit and then it would become that much more easily than creating an account from the ground up. So that is why I rated my own account at 4 Dragon Egg. So if you did want to get a feature done with the Miser and Genghis Real Estate, what you would want to do is contact the Miser, myself, or you could contact Genghis or both of us, preferably by email, just asking for more information. Our emails are up there on the screen. Just shoot off an email. We will send you a document with more information of how you could get a feature. And that's if you are wanting to have your keep featured. If you see a feature video, and you want to contact that person to talk about the future of that person's account, have a private conversation so that you don't have to start from scratch and you can just jump right in, or perhaps upgrade your own account to that one. Anything that is talked about like that is in a private conversation. So if you did want to have that private conversation, you would message myself or Genghis and let us know to connect you with that player, and we'll send that information over and they might contact you back and you can have those private talks. But that's about it for this video. So if you have any questions about how the feature system works or anything like that, then feel free to hit us up in Discord. We each have our own channels and either one of us could answer those questions for you. All right. I will see you in the next video.